night matches fire in the air. Frag grenades flying, chaos everywhere. Dodcast with the recaps here. Who's the champ this week? It's all unclear. Gold division tighter than a noose. Every round a gamble, no room for truce. Dodcast, the spotlight shines fast. Chase kills the kings, but the race won't last. Dodcast, legends in the broadcast. Knock out the gold, no one else can amass. Bound to crouch, can we agree? Skill achieves what's the referee's decree. MG nests and the rockets blast. Tactics on fire, the moments flash fast. Victory close, but who'll take the crown? Gold is a jungle, no one's backing down. Dodcast, the spotlight shines best. Kiss kills the kings, but the race won't last. Dodcast, legends in the broadcast. Knock out the goat, no one else can amass.
It's Corey, Jag, and Marco, and it's another episode of the Dodcast.
Hey yo, what is up everybody? It is the Jaginator, Corey Marco. We're back with another episode of the Dodcast. Hell to the yeah, to the fucking right. We gotta recap Anzio. We gotta predict Anjou. Recap Anzio, predict Anjou? Yeah, I think that's right. And look at that. James followed. I thought he already did, but it's also, I mean, he was obviously banned at one point, so I think it probably erases that. All right. As far as I know, let me just double check. Oh. What is this? A draft frag movie? I was going to say there is no frag of the week. There doesn't appear to be anyways. I had no idea that this was a movie that was out right now either. But, there is no frag of the week that has come out. I had thought about doing it, but I wasn't going to have time this week. If it had been like any other week, I would have been able to. So yeah, because normally, in the event of Anzio week not having a frag of the week, I would play like one of the same two frag of the weeks. So I've done that, 8 times now? So yeah, we're gonna watch this, because I had no idea this was out. Nice. Wonder if I die in this. I don't remember if or when we played them. He was on Taylor's team? Anzio, I guess, then? Yeah. So I probably will die. Nice. Nice. Little cameo from Jules' forehead right there. The American Vic. And the American dialogue. God, this leg is fucking... Dan. Nice. Dan. Nice. Raven gets it, man. Raven gets it. How far are we into this? A minute and a half. You can already tell he gets it. I don't know why it looked like there was a big-ass box on the screen there for a second. That was weird. See? I don't even need to know this movie to be able to tell you. He gets it. Let this be a lesson. Oh no, am I gonna die here? Okay, I didn't. Wait, I might still. Okay, no, I didn't. Oh, I was killing people behind him. Nice. Count it. Count it as a cameo for me. I was killing other people. Hey. Poor Evan. Okay, well, yeah. Can't hit everyone. He gets it. Joey Harder would be proud. What is that fucking boxes popping up there? Oh no, that shot didn't hit. Oh, pendulum? Bring it on home. Later. Bring it on home. Bam, bam, bam. Bring it on home. Nice. I'll let the credits play. I'm not much of a credit guy in DoD movies, but you know. Evanescence. Oh, I thought this was a different song entirely. All dead tonight. And thank you for watching. Just make sure there's no post-credit scene. You never know. Marvel's trained me well. All right, that was pretty sick. All that from one draft. I was just thinking yesterday that I should have fucking made a. I gotta just take this leg off. There you go, Hopper. You get a leg off without having to pay for it. That I should have made a draft movie from that draft because I've saved my clips for way too long at this point, and half of them aren't gonna ever end up in anything. Hey, if anyone out there that's a up-and-coming movie maker wants to make a movie, I'll give you a shitload of clips of mine. You can do whatever you want with them. I did it the same for a few people back in the day too. Anyways, now that I have skedaddled all through these other things, let's get to the recapping. Okay. So I was thinking also yesterday how I should retroactively do a match of the week, and this would definitely be the match of the week for this week. Now, there are some matches that didn't get played, most specifically Revo versus Soul, which I think is a major candidate to be the match of the week when all is said and done, but this is the clear match of the week in retrospect. I don't think that there was any other particularly close games. This one was really close too. But the Plays for Fun Best Buds game was fucking dramatic, man. Back and forth, cap. Huge lead for Plays for Fun after the first half. 333 to 85 after their allied side. And then obviously, Best Buds ends up coming back and winning 548 to 474. And I mean, it really was just like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Who caps here? Who caps there? Who caps here? Who caps there? So many fucking full caps. Really, really fun game to watch and obviously to cast. So on the first half, Axis side for Best Buds, Monty 22, Hopper 21, Big Bird and Piff 17, Laura with 16, the Brom Bomb with 15. And then on the Plays for Fun side, 29 for Evans. Evans and Pijisku were really just all over the place, making life difficult for Best Buds here with the bars. 29 for Evans, 25 for Pijisku. Lucky at 26 and 12 also was the other piece of that puzzle. Just, I mean, Plaza was basically not for sale on this half. Because Evans and Pijisku were going to go find kills all over the map. And then just when you think like, oh, we got rid of both the bars, they're not up at our 1 anymore in Sundial or in Street, well, Lucky was there to grab 2, 3, 7 kills at a time. He went 26 and 12. Anna also at 24. Manga with 21. And then Coffee at 18 and 7 going ultra safety mode. Just in case you did get past Lucky 2, you then had to find Coffee. So really, really great half to start things off for Plays for Fun, but obviously an even better second half by Best Buds here. I believe Piff ended up the MVP at 31 in this half. Nobody really broke 60, or even, I think Evans was the top fragger by like a lot overall. He had 56. Piff was the MVP with 48, I believe. Adam had 46, I believe, overall. Then Monty had like 45 or 48, something like that. Hopper had 20 this half, 17 for Big Bird, 16 for Laura. And yeah, Piff and Bromley were really outstanding in this half. Pulled things together all over the map. Adam running with the Tommy gun, winning fights against Coffee. Tommy gun versus Unter, which is always impressive. I don't know how people win fights against Coffee, light versus light, but Adam eventually got there. The first couple, it was like, oh yeah, that's how it usually goes. And then he started winning them. He started finding the heads. On the Plays for Fun side, Evans, as I said, 27 on Axis for a total of 56. Easy top frag for the server there. Just a great game. Great pickup for Plays for Fun. That was my biggest concern for Plays for Fun's chances of being able to go win like this division potentially, was they only had 6 people on the roster. And the fact that not only did they add a couple players to the roster to make sure that like they always had 6, they also added Johnny V. But getting a really strong player like Evans, who comes out in his debut, top frags, heavying on Anzio. I mean, I can assure you this man knows how to play the game. You know, speaking of the draft that just happened, he was my heavy partner. So a great and oh yeah, that's another aspect of today's episode that I forgot to mention earlier as I try to put my leg back on. Now, the trade deadline has hit, or the roster unlock. I prefer to call it the trade deadline because I'm a sports fan, and the NHL trade deadline is going on right now too. So yeah, we're gonna see some roster moves. I'll go over the ones that have happened here. Those are our 2 big ones in bronze. But the moral of the story is Best Bud take the win here in a close one. Plays for Fun with a real statement game there, letting everybody know they are here to play. But Best Buds do squeak it out in the end by about a cap. Where is there other bronze? Okay, this game we did cast as well. So 9-5 with just a really, really convincing win here. 752 to 276 over Uncle Rico's Time Machine. The name of the game here was just, you know, well, I mean, hey, everybody on 9-5 had moments, but Sohit and Corey, I think, top frag by a bit. Nacho might have been up there too. Nacho had 57. Corey had 61, and then Soy had 72. And yeah. So, I mean, there wasn't a lot to say here. Nick also had a really good game for Uncle Rico's Time Machine. He had 31 on Allies, 21 for Kevin. Just been really fun watching Purdy play this season. He's looked outstanding. And I think he'll even just continue to look better and better, too. He's definitely gotten himself into the stride of his peak Cape Hurdy form. 20 for Head Like a Hole, 17 for G, 12 for Zamp, 7 for Craig. And then, as I alluded to on 9 to 5, 37 for Soya, 29 for Corey, 28 for Nacho on the rifle. The man does it all. 23 apiece for Cadaver and Caleb, and 21 for 9. You know, there's just a lot of crazy fucking kills out of everybody on 9 to 5. Like, if you want to see some just crazy fucking runs and shots, just go watch that stream. And then, yeah, second half, 9 to 5, I think end up winning by even a little bit more here. The kills, they outfragged him by 45. On Uncle Rico's side, Zamp had 21. G and Purdy with 20. 19 for Head Like a Hole. 18 for Craig and Nick. And then on the 9 to 5 side, 35 for Soya. Seemed like every life he was getting 3 kills. 32 for Corey Price. 29 for Nacho. 25 for Caleb. 22 for Tony. And 18 for Cadaver. And yeah, 9 to 5 with maybe an even bigger statement win there than how things went in the match of the week, which, as I said, not the match of the week ahead of time. Actually, no, I think I did actually call that the match of the week for bronze ahead of time too. But like I said, I think I want to try to do a, you know, like as we're recapping, this was the best match of the week as well now. Next up, we've got the Bots versus the Wee Kids. I did not get to cast this game, so I don't really have much intel on it, but I just clicking the wrong buttons all over the place. Looks like first half here, Axis side for the Bots. I think this must be an old server. Yeah. So I actually don't know whether that's first half or second half. I'm assuming it's first half. That's the order it's in. 206 to 88 in favor of the Bots on the Axis side. 30 for Pocho. 24 for Dende. 23 for Agucho. 20 for GZ. 16 for Lucho. And 14 for P1. And then on the Wee Kids side, oh, look at that. We got Zaps in this week, but no Barinya. I'm telling you, man. It's like they're kind of cursed with that, where they never can seem to get all their big guns on at the same time. One of these days, they're gonna, and somebody's gonna get fucking surprised. So 28 for Zaps, just a great half for him. Almost top frags the server. 17 for Jiraiya. 16 for both Bullet and Ryan. 14 for Sukos. 13 for Leto. And then Allied side for the Bots, 260 to 103. 29 for Agucho. 28 and 14 for GZ. Both halves 2-1 KD. 24 for Pocho. 19 for Lucho. 14 for Dende. And then 11 and 7 for Primble, which I guess that would be P1. But it looks like he might have lagged out, disconnected, crashed, whatever at some point. And then on the Wee Kids side, again, Zaps. I think, did Zaps top frag? Pocho had 30 and 24. Yeah, Zaps top fragged for the game here with 59. You know, this is what I mean. Like, when they have the right guys on, this team has some real firepower to it. And they have made a move at the deadline now as well to bring in a longtime favorite of this show in Burn. Now, here's the thing. I didn't verify because I forgot to before this started, but I'm pretty sure that's got to be the Burn, right? Like, it says SRO Burns. So, you know, there's a world where that could be somebody else. And I forgot to ask Bill before I went live, even though I was just thinking about it when I was taking a shower. But I am assuming that this is, you know, one of the stars of the introductory video on my Twitch channel. Where is he? There he is. He's gone insane. So many moments Burn has had over the seasons on my cast, so it's cool to see him potentially, I guess, back in the mix here. It's got to be him. Like the capital letters are the same and everything. The senior part there is the only part that gives me pause. Like, is it Burns' dad? You know, I don't know. I'm just going to assume that it is Burn now, though. And now think about the potential of a lineup where you have Casino, Burn, Burinya, and Zaps all in the mix. Think about that for just a second. Think about that. That's almost heavyweights. Like, there's a lot of potential for that team to straight up be able to come out and end up in the finals. Like, if they could get their 4 big guns in the lineup week in and week out for the rest of the season, this team could legitimately straight up be a finalist in bronze when all is said and done. Just saying, it's one of those things. I obviously, like I talked about, we haven't really had the chance to see that happen much for them. Like my leg shrunk while I was taking a shower or something. But yeah, big win there for Bots, taking down the Weak Kids. But man, there is some potential there for the Weak Kids, man. I didn't get to see the game, so I didn't get to see how everybody was looking individually necessarily that did play. But just from the names, there are some guys that they could put together out there that could make for a fun one. All right, next up. In the Silver Division, the game that I didn't get to see here was Clan X versus Emo Frag Squad. I think there must be an HLTV of it, but I didn't really realize it till it was a little too late. So, I mean, I could technically cast this game, but the Emo Frag Squad guys didn't seem too interested in that. So I was just kind of like, all right, well, if the Clan X guys want me to do it, I'll do it. But yeah, it was... Where'd it go? 566 to 250 for Clan X over Emo Frag Squad there. Okay, so this is first half. As you can see, which this was the big question for Emo Frag Squad, and will be the big question this week again, who's playing? So, for Anzio, they ended up with Grant in there, and they ended up with John Gale in there. John Gale no longer on the roster after this game, which is not really a good thing, to be honest, for Emo Frag Squad. He might be, like, one of their 2 most reliable players who's, like, literally always available. Even if he is not playing DoD at all, any other time, he will be able to be there for the matches. And that's kind of a big problem for Emo Frag Squad right now. So the fact that John's not on the roster anymore, not a good thing when the guys that are left on the roster, you've got a couple who you really don't know if they can show up for any reason. Grant, you know, like if Ryan's not there, are you going to be able to get him on? I doubt it. Rob is about to be on vacation for just about the entire rest of the season. So not only is he going to be missing, but he's also going to be coming back cold on top of all that, with no practice for however many weeks. So also bad news for Emo Frag Squad there. And then this week, Ryan Emo also not able to play on Sunday, so I guess we'll see if they still schedule the match for that time. But yeah, their lineup did not even end up what I thought it would. So Clan X took full advantage here. Rafinha 30 and 18, Storm 29 and 18, Bud with 19, Nitrox with 18, Bitchex with 17, and Matt with 12. And then on Emo's side, Ian Galasso with 27, Ryan Emo with 21, and then everybody else had 14. Nice and uniform. Second half, so let's see, how bad would that second half be? It's like 170-ish, 169. It actually looks like Emo Frag Squad won this half pretty closely, but still they did win it. They outfragged them as well, so a lot better, at least, on this half. I would guess that, well, first of all, I don't know that either of the heavies for Emo Frag Squad were probably particularly dedicated to holding street, which is always a problem on this map in any game. If the other team recognizes that at all, you're in trouble on your Axis side. It was even happening to us on in our match where, like, I was kind of getting a little bit ahead of myself and not paying as much attention to street as I should have, and then getting my teammates fucked in the butt for it. So it's one of those things where you kind of need somebody, even though it's boring, he has to be responsible for street so that if there is no one there, you're always very aware of it and not just kind of like moseying on out towards Plaza or down short ramp and getting shot in the butthole. So 31 and 17 for Omenair there. Great half on the bar. 22 for Matt, 21 for Ian, 18 for both Grant and Rob, 14 for John. And then on Clan X, the top fragger, I think, overall here, Storm. 33 in this half, so he was over 60 overall. Rafinha with 24, he ends up with 54. Both Nitrox and Bitchex with 21. And then Bud and Matt with 10. I guess if you look at the scores overall for the game here, it looks more like it was just the rifle, rifle impact. All the rifles on the Clan X side were just, like basically doubling up frag totals. So just one of those things. Clan X, though, continuing to have a great start to this season, as you would expect. Where are we now? Excuse me. Manners Minders versus No-Go. So I did get to cast this game. What do we got? Was this first half? I forget which half was first half. I want to say this is backwards, but I very well could be wrong. So, Axis side, that's got to be backwards. Allied side for Manners Minders to start off here, they got out-fragged by 12. I feel like there might have been a disconnect, though, at one point. I think Wua might have disconnected. Don't quote me on that, but I do feel like he disconnected at some point. 309 to 213, the score here in the half. Pretty solid. This was another game that was very, very back and forth. This would have been up there as well. Like, the 3 matches of the week in retrospect would have been this, the Plays for Fun versus Best Buds game, and Dicey Hot. This game was just like boom, 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 boom. Cap. Manor with 28. 23 for Kingyo, 19 for Wua, 18 for Yanni getting to snipe there, Toki and Pizza Hut with 15, and then on the No-Go side, 27 for Cushy. Koi was outstanding in this game. If No-Go had won, Koi was the clear MVP. He had 26 on Axis side. He had movie clips seemingly every life. Just a great game for Koi there, leading by example. Jamie, Matthew, and Bausch all with 20, and then 17 for Quarter. Second half, 215 to 201. Another victory just in the half as well for Manners Minders there. That's actually crazy. No-Go out-fragged them, and they're missing somebody from their screenshot here. They're missing Kush from their screenshot. So you got to figure he probably had at least like 20 kills. So they probably out-fragged them by about, oh, you can see right there, 150. So probably, yeah, around 20 kills. So yeah. Just a really good job by Manners Minders to limit damage in a half that they were getting fragged on pretty heavy, and obviously on their Axis side of Anzio, like already kind of having to be a defensive half a lot of the time. 32 and 19 for Koi, though. As I said, just a great game for Koi. 29 for Jamie on the bar, 26 for Matthew, 24 for Quarter, and 22 for Hunter. And then on Manners Minders side, Kingyo with 26. Yanni with 24, Wua with 23, Manor and Toki with 20, and Pizza with 19. Manners Minders with the dub there. Ends up being by not quite 2 caps, about a cap and a half. It came down to the wire, though, for sure. And yeah, it was good to get to see Manners Minders. That was my first game I got to cast them. The lineup, there's no Scotty playing. I don't know if that's for the whole season or if it's, just like an availability thing and week to week. Toki not on the sniper. Yanni's getting to snipe here, so that's a little bit of a change too. I'm sure Toki's excited to not be stuck sniping all the time, and Yanni's excited to get to snipe on his natural class. But yeah, good game for Manners and No-Go there. Like I said, one of easily the best 3 matches of the week. And then I think this is the last silver game to do. Yes. And I didn't get to cast this one at all. It was on an old server, and that old server, the HLTV, was glitched when the game was going on. Jared Stamper was going to go in there for me and record it just to be sure, and he couldn't even get in. So, yeah, didn't get to see it at all, but Shift W continuing their season very, very deadly. 765 to 187 over the B team there. First half, 451 to, was that 57? 67. If you look at the screenshot, there's no way to know whether that's a 5 or a 6, though. That could be either. 164 to 105 are the kills there in favor of Shift W. 25 for Shogun, the addition to the B team here. A great addition to the B team. I think he's perfect to add to this roster. Like, really, I think one of the, most low-key big moves that's happening at the roster lock here. Going to be a guy that brings a lot to the table for B team. 23 for Brandon, 21 for Rye, 15 for Miz, 13 for Steve, 8 for Henry, and then on Shift W side, Raleigh, 33 and 18 there. We had a trio at 28, Hooley, 2-1 KD as well, Raven, and Kev all with 28, 26 for SQ, and 21 for Shreddies. Everybody is positive there as well on the Shift W side. And then second half is... what the fuck does that say? 314 to 120. 314 to 120. Just it's not even like the resolution. It's just where the end of the fucking round ends up putting the scores, you know? Because, like, now it's in the sky, so it's just blending in with shit. So that's not, nobody can help that. All right, so 314 to 120 plus 44 were the kills for Shift W there. 33 for Steve, another great half for Steve. Just keep marking those down because the guy is on a tear this season. Brandon with 25, 20 for Miz, 19 for Twist, 14 for Henry. And on the Shift W side, 35 for Kev. I believe he top fragged in that case. He would definitely have broken 60. Hooley would have been just short of 60, but with basically a 2-1 KD there, 30 and 18 in the second half. 28 for Raleigh. He would have ended up at 60 as well, right? Yep, 61. 22 for Shreddies, and then 20 for both SQ and Raven. What a game there for Shift W again. These big four teams in silver continue to look outstanding. We didn't obviously get to see Revo versus Soul yet, but that will be coming up pretty soon, I believe. It was posted somewhere. Where did Jared post it? Oh, dance alive. And then it through the night. A Janet just for you and I. Oh, I don't know which of those two games I'm going to do. Oh, shit. This is at the... Jesus Christ. There's a bunch of afternoon games there. God damn. We play at default. Where is it? Where is it? Swear to God, I saw this posted. So, oh, is this? Nope, that's Soul versus B team. What? Maybe he said it in my Twitch chat. And that's why I'm not seeing it here. I think it was like on the 14th or the 15th. Soul versus Emo, as of right now, is scheduled for Sunday. We'll see if they try to maybe push it to Monday so that they could have Ryan Emo. You never know. But yeah, I don't see the Revo Soul game listed here, but I believe it's a week away still. Like, I think it's next weekend that they're going to be able to do it. Anyways, on to the gold side of things. Our game first here, G-Skill versus Ass Raccoon, 774 to 134. We started off on the Allied side, 445 to 54, plus 42 in the kills. Empy was in there this week. No James, which obviously is an unfortunate guy to be missing for Ass Raccoons, especially on a map like Anzio, where he brings a lot to the table value-wise, especially like over on the Plaza side of things. I would imagine he would have ended up going Plaza. I don't know, though. You never know. Either way, it's just he's a very strong Anzio player, most importantly. So 24 for Empy, 22 for Drew, 18 for Darren, 15 for Miles, 12 for Leo, 11 for Cody. On the G-Skill side, Gull with 33, Chuck with 27, I had 26, Colin with 22, Taylor with 20, and Savage with 16. And then the Axis side, I don't remember what the score actually was here. We won the half. Kills were plus 34. Darren, 26 and 18. Empy, 26 and 24. Leo, 22 and 26. Cody, Drew, and Miles with 14. And then on the G-Skill side, Taylor with 32 on the heavy with 22 flag caps is just insane. Chuck, 28 and 13. Just a great game for Chuck overall. Andrew with 28. Colin with 27, Savage with 18, and I was the lone negative player with 17 kills. Just not a good look for Yagoon. I really want, by the end of the season, for my signature weapon to be the STG, and I just, like, every single, in scrims, I'm a god with the STG. In matches, it seems like every single match on Axis side, I'm out with the STG, and I'm just spraying clips violently through people until I end up having to switch to the Unter just to get any kills. In this game, I think I didn't even switch to the Unter, because I was so committed to the STG working for me, and it just refused to do so. Not a good half for me there, but obviously unimportant overall. We get the win there. Good game to Ass Raccoons. There was server issues and stuff going on, and obviously them missing a starter. So I'm sure we'll be running into them again. I mean, I know we're going to be running into them again, actually. I forget. I think it's on Lennon, maybe? Lennon, or it's got to be Lennon. Or Saints, I guess? We might get them on Saints, actually. Let me check. No, we get Clinic on Saints. So, yeah, Lennon or Ass Raccoons. Okay. Next up was the Over versus Clinic game. From the Over side of things was just insane, this game. 889 to 127. Clinic, no Debo, but honestly, with how... You could have put Over, like, this 6, the way that they played, I think, against anybody in this game on this map, and I don't think they could have lost. Like, it honestly, like, truly, that's how it looked to me. Like, it just, I don't think it would have mattered who the other 6 players were. This team just played out of their fucking mind. First half was 424 to 72, plus 54, the frag total. Caffrey was 36 and 15, one of the craziest, like, Axis side heavy halves you'll ever see anywhere, let alone on Anzio. Nightmare was 35 and 13, Devin with 27, Hubie with 23, No Name with 22, Chi with 18. On the other side, Justin at 23, 19 for Sam, 18 for Vic, 17 for Tom, 16 for Insom, and 14 for Scott. And then second half, I think there was like a pretty similar score overall. Kills wise, so they're missing one from the screenshot, but you can see 125 deaths, so let's just say it was 125 kills. So it was basically plus 55 again. Almost 200 kills here. They had 5 guys basically get to the 30 kill mark. Nightmare was at 23 with a minute left, I believe, or a minute and a half left, and he still almost got to 30 because he went on a crazy run on a sniper spot on bridge. Came up just short of 30, but I call it 30 for the sake of argument here, just to be able to say they had 5 guys get to 30 and a half of Anzio, which is nuts. 36 again for Caffrey, the clear MVP in this game. 34 for No Name, 33 for SC, 30 for Devin, 29 for Nightmare, 19 for Chi. Not much left for him to do, although he did still have a nice, like, Kellen-esque movie clip pushing up Sundial. So did SZ. And then on Clinic side, 22 for Justin, 22 for Scott. Scott had a couple nice movie clips, as did Justin as well. Honestly, this is the thing. The guys on Clinic weren't playing like bad. They were playing well. It's just Over was out of their minds. You know, like, if you're running into Over on Harrington or Anzio or Lennon, those 3 maps in particular, if they're playing like this, good luck. You better also be having, like, the game of your life as a team, because it's just not going to stop coming for you. But yeah, 21 for Insom and Tom, 20 for Sam, and it was right around the same for Vic. And yeah, just a crazy, crazy game by Over there. Like I said, honestly, I don't think it mattered who the other 6 guys in the server were in this case. If they play like that on these maps, that's it. Like, you're going to have to fucking do the same. You're going to have to be able to match their pace and fragging, or else they will eventually overwhelm you. You can't really afford to play a control game too much when they're just ramming it down your throat. Like, eventually you have to be able to hit the shots with them as well. It's just one of those things, and anybody who is surprised by that ain't been paying attention. With Over, under any circumstances, Harrington, Anzio, Lennon, the big 3 most important maps, you know, playoff-wise, that's their playground, man. So, you know, just in this case, though, they stepped it up even another notch further, because that was a wild game to watch. Wild, the shit that they were pulling off. And then last but not least, on the recap side of things, The Dicey Hot rematch, as I said, though, slightly different. The lineup's not the same. For Dice, they are doing the randomizer wheel for classes, so obviously right there, it's not going to be the same. And then for Icy Hot, obviously, Mitch and Jared in the mix. This game was a close one. Like I said, one of only 3 close games this week. 514 to 378. On the Axis side, Icy Hot ended up winning by about 22. Plus 40 in the frags overall there. Alex had 24. Chris had 20. 19 for Matt. 18 apiece for Johnny and Kevin. 16 for Paul. What were the class? I think Alex was heavying. Matt was thirding. Chris was heavying. Paul was rifling. Kevin was rifling. And Johnny was sniping. On the Icy Hot side, Sean was the MVP of this game easily. On Axis side, it was just seemingly every life he was getting 3 or 10 kills with the car. He had one life that was just him, he got out double windows towards Lower Church, and it was just car kill, 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 car kill. And that was that. So yeah, crazy game for Sean. He had 40 on the Axis side, 27 for Jared on the Stas, 26 for William, 25 for Jesse, 23 for Ben, 14 for Mitch. Really, the rifles were just the name of the game here for Icy Hot, as is the case in 90% of DoD games. If your rifle team is all averaging out to over 30 kills, you're going to be really tough to beat. And that is what Icy Hot did here, basically. Second half, wait, is that? Oh, they played on 2 different servers, so yeah, that is not the final score. That is just the second half score. Icy Hot wins this half by 114 plus 11 on the kill total. I think this was actually, no, this was second half. I just watched it first. That's why I was so confused. 27 for Matt, 23 for Paul, 21 for Kevin. I liked what I saw to Kevin, car and double windows. He might not obviously they lose the game. He's not going to like the result, but I like what I saw to Kevin. He has been paying attention all these years whenever I'm car and double windows. I liked what I saw. I think he had one clip where he got 3 wall shots in there, and I like that shit. I like it. 19 for Chris, 15 for Johnny, 13 for Alex. And on the Icy side, Sean, again, the top frag here. I mean, he top fragged overall by a lot. It was one of the easiest choices for MVP. I didn't even have to add up the scores. It was just, on the first half, he was the only guy with 30, let alone he also had 40. And in the second half, he was the only guy with 30 kills. It was just, one of the few times I didn't need to add anyone's score up to know immediately this is the MVP. 30 for Sean there, 21 for William, 21 for Jared, 21 for Ben, 20 for Jesse, 16 for Mitch. Icy Hot take the rematch here, 514 to 378, continuing their strong start to the season as well. Who do they play this week? They get over on Anjou, so that's kind of... Over has been a little bit unlucky with who they're drawing on what maps, I think, here. I'm sure in the grand scheme, it's you don't want Icy Hot on a map like Anjou or a map like Thunder or really even Armory, although I think Over would match up well with Icy Hot on Armory. They do get... Oh, wait, no, this is Saints. I was going to say they do get Dice on Saints. Okay, they get Icy Hot on Lennon, so that's good for them, at least there. But yeah, the matchups that you expect, the late stage playoff matches, we're not seeing too many of them here. The way that the scheduling worked out, you're getting a lot of those Icy Hot Dice, Icy Hot Over, G-Skill, Icy Hot games coming on the random maps that you're not going to really see in the playoffs there. But yeah, looking at the standings, we're still at 3-0, and then Icy and Over are 2-1, Clinic and Dice with 1, and Ass Raccoons at 0-3. And then, yeah, let's start the predicting. Actually, no. First, wait, no, John is still on the team here. I was told yesterday that John actually wasn't on the team anymore. So that's good that John is still on the team. Who's not on the team? I guess everybody's still on the team. They really just added 2 players. Okay, so that's I was going to say, that's really not great to be losing a guy who you can rely on to show up all the time. So that's good news for them. All right. Trade deadline stuff. So I'm freeballing this. I don't have a list of who picked up what and where and why and how. I'm just looking at the lineups, and generally I remember who was on every team. So right here for Ass Raccoons, Evan is a great addition there. If he's going to be able to play at all, that's huge. I mean, this is a guy who was car barring for T3 not that long ago, making finals, winning finals. So that's a great pickup. Evan brings a lot to the table on that team and can play anything. So that's a good move for them. That's really the only move in gold. I don't see anything else, I mean, technically, Jules, I'd consider to be a move, I guess, if he ever plays for Icy Hot. That's kind of like a late season addition, but it is just a troll. It's like PDX, These are troll roster moves. And then if one of them does happen to end up playing, it's just coincidental. I should have had the foresight to be the one to troll add Jules on G-Skill, to be honest. And then we would have had that option later on. As I said earlier, on B Team, Shogun, great addition here, because B Team is kind of short on players. No more Arn on the list anymore, which means I don't have to speculate every week whether he might or might not play, which is nice for my voice. But yeah, great move getting Colby here. A big game player, a guy who brings a lot of value, any class he's playing, and a lot of experience. Emo Frag Squad, great couple moves here. So obviously J-Rod, huge addition. Immediately you get another high impact elite player who is going to be able to carry some of that weight, and it's not going to be all so heavily placed on just a couple players for Emo Frag Squad. Now is spread out a little more. And Ace, which is a guy with the intangibles just falling out his butt. Extremely smart, vocal, leader in game, can heavy, which is always nice. You can never have too many heavies. Can realistically probably play any class you need him to, but mainly heavy. And yeah, just great moves for them there. Now, as the season goes forth, if you see a lineup for Emo Frag Squad put out there of Matt, Ryan, Ian, J-Rod, Ace, John, Matt, Ryan, Ian, J-Rod, Ace, John Gale. Yeah. I mean, that is a team that I look at and say, okay, they can definitely stand up to anyone else in silver on the right map, especially. I don't know what you would maybe do class-wise there. It would be a question of, I guess, how much John is playing. For him, it's if you put him on the sniper, he's going to do a good job. If you're putting him on the rifle, I think he needs to be playing a little bit more. Just get a little bit sharper on mental decision-making with the rifle. Sniping, he's going to be good either way. Whereas Ian, it's you can throw him on the rifle maybe and have John snipe in that case. Kind of similar with Steve, you could have Steve snipe anytime. I just think Ian is the most active out of these three guys, which, they're all really good snipers. It's just you also need to get rifle value out of them as well. But a lot more options for Emo Frag Squad there now going forward. Doesn't look like anything on Manners Minders. No go with the Wanka edition. I love. Nick is great. That's if he's going to play, especially. I mean, you never know with these additions, right? I haven't talked to Nick, but if he's going to play, that's a great addition for No-Go. Another experienced, good player, a heavy as well. So that would be a really good one for No-Go to bolster things for the stretch run. Soul with the addition of Luke. I mean, how many times has Luke been the biggest addition in a division at the trade deadline? So many. It's going to be a matter of if he gets to play at all, right? If he's just on the roster, like a PDX in this case, it doesn't matter. But, I mean, hey, it is also kind of scary not knowing if you might end up running into Dillard each week, to be fair. So, I'd love to see Dillard get in the mix there for Soul. Imagine a rifle team with fucking Jackson and Dillard. Although, then who goes double windows? God damn. I guess if I were the GM of Soul, I think I would probably send Luke Bridge. I feel like Luke, I've seen go Bridge enough times, whereas Jackson, I couldn't tell you a time I ever saw Jackson car Bridge. He is a double windows car in my mind, but that's not up to me, my friends. Next up on the bots, Vinico. I'm not familiar with who Vinico is, or if I'm pronouncing that right at all. So I don't have anything to say there, but an addition is an addition. That could also, I feel like this is a new player here, but I could be wrong. 9 to 5, I don't see anything new. Plays for fun, we talked about a little bit. Johnny V in the mix now, Joey in the mix now, and Evans in the mix now. They needed bodies bad. They only had 6 players, so to have gotten some actually pretty fucking good skill addition here too, outstanding with Joey and Evans there, and obviously Johnny V, all vibes all the time, active player. You can rely on Johnny V to at least be there. He might not know who Moss is, but he will be there. Nothing for Uncle Rico's that I see. Although there's always a chance with Ian Gilmore that he might pop back up as the season goes on, which would be kind of an addition. And then on the weak kid side, as we said earlier, Burn or Burn's dad, I don't know. I'm assuming, and I'm just going to stop qualifying this, I'm assuming that's Burn. Which is a great, like, again, they have a lineup. They have a couple lineups that can beat anybody in bronze. If they can have those lineups actually play together is the real question there. Okay. So, what do we got? Ooh. Best Buds versus 9 to 5 is obviously the match of the week. Plays for fun, bots, Uncle Rico's versus weak kids. All right. So, Uncle Rico's Time Machine, Head Like a Hole, Purdy, G, E-Man, Zamp, and LASIK. Generally, there's 6. Ian not really around. Bo and Meat both available, I'm sure. For the weak kids, Jiraiya and Bullet usually playing. Ryan usually playing. I feel like Leto's been there a lot. AZ. And then it's like Zaps, Barinia, Burn, Cass, Sukos. I have no idea, hypothetically, what... let me look. I don't think Bill said what the lineup is exactly. I think he just told me how Burn was added to the team. Where the fuck did it go? I also just asked Bill if that's actually Burn, since, you know, I was messaging him. He didn't tell me the lineup, though, so I don't know. Always speculating when it comes to the weak kids lineup. Let me tell you, man, though, you get that lineup out there for the weak kids this week, you're going to be able to have a chance at a real big statement win against Uncle Rico's Time Machine. This map is a real X Factor fucking variable for everybody. I don't know if you haven't scrimmed it yet. There's some weird stuff about this map that is going to take some solving. I can tell you, we scrimmed against Ass Raccoons last night, and I think we won by 4 points. But we got capped on, I believe, 3 times, and we capped once, and we won the game by 4 points, I believe. Or maybe we didn't cap at all. But like, there's the map has some pieces to it that if you don't prepare in advance for them, you will probably end up giving up a cap because of it. Like, there's just some areas that they're not gonna be very comparable to anything else that you've ever really played in a match. So keep that in mind for everybody. First of all, go into the map, talk to your team, have a little theory session, because you're gonna want to figure some things out and some contingencies and protocols for certain stuff that's gonna come up, especially off initials. Things can turn very, very quickly without you having any idea that it's about to turn. So keep that in mind. Be prepared. You know, in this game, like, I mean, hey, on this map, your heavies can obviously get a lot of value, but I feel like from the heavy route, there's just, you have to really do some crazy shit, right, to like get pushed way out, or the other team has to have a missed assignment. You know, I shouldn't say you have to, like, the other team could also fuck up and you could end up there, but like the rifles, most of the time it's like, if your rifles are playing stronger than the other team's rifles, you should win the game. There's just, you know, the double nades and everything like that, and any range and all that shit. So that's the name of the game for the Weak Kids to be able to win this week. Again, but for me with the Weak Kids, it's always just a lineup question. I think Uncle Rico's Time Machine will win the game. Unless if the Weak Kids can get that crazy lineup out there, though, it could very quickly turn in their favor. I'm assuming until I see them get that lineup out there for a game, that's not happening. There's still other versions of the team that could win against anybody. It's just with that lineup, it's like I can say very confidently, like, hey, they can take this map against this team. They can take that map against that team. I'll say Uncle Rico's Time Machine here. But yeah, Bullet is the kind of guy who will be solving these problems in advance, and that alone could be enough that, shit can turn very quickly in the Weak Kids' favor. So Uncle Rico's need to be prepared before that match comes to fruition. Next up, Plays for Fun versus the Bots. On the Bots side, we saw, well, again, with them too, it's kind of like a revolving door a little bit. We've seen almost everybody play on this team. We saw Primble play last week. We've seen Proxy play. Dende's played most of the time. Sirio didn't play last week, but had played the previous weeks. GZ seems to be in there all the time. Pocho seems to be in there all the time. Lucho's generally in there. Agucho. Rhythm, maybe. I don't think we've seen play. Maybe once. On the Plays for Fun side, based on last week at least, Anna, Coffee, Manga, Pijisku, Lucky, and Evans. I assume with Coffee, he's going to be relegated. Here's the thing, though. On the Underpass side, you're not going to be able to get away with just having a guy post up anywhere on this. It's not Shamil. There are a lot of ways to deal with, we're going to just sit a guy on this side of Underpass, on either half. They're not easy solutions, but there are solutions, like using the door up into triple windows as an axis. Like, if nobody has any eyes on that or knows that a guy could be out there, you could be prone on the allied side of Underpass watching the flag, and a guy is crouch walking up behind you and shooting you in the ass. Same with if a ally wants to sit in the triple windows, like a guy can just come up into that doorway and chuck a 4-second prime nade out the door and blow you up. Like, there are solutions to the problems that I think people have had with Shamil. I don't know. I have no idea if they're the best solutions, right? Like, I've only played this version of the map the one time. There's definitely some annoying aspects of those solutions, but they are solutions. And to me, it's definitely a better solution than taking the meme of Akpith saying there's a secret tunnel, right? The secret tunnel thing was not the answer. This is a much more practical and, I think, a reasonable answer to the bottleneck of Underpass. Now, there's still, while there is that option to kind of bypass the front of Puddle, like, you still, as an ally, unless you can use that door and you can't open it yourself, but you can try to get in the door when they open it. It stays open for a while. I believe 7 seconds was the exact amount of time that access door stays open. So, to me, like I said, I think that there are some good answers to the bottlenecking problems of Underpass. And yeah, I don't know. With Coffee, it's like, do you sit him there in Underpass and just kind of like hope to play with the communication and make sure that he doesn't just get like flanked a bunch? Certainly that's an option. Lucky has been outstanding this season. Him versus GZ will be a fun matchup, but it is, Shamil. So, like, snipers don't have as much impact as they might on another map. You do need to be kind of mobile as a sniper on this map and rotating through a few different spots, because otherwise, if you don't, eventually you're just going to get pre-fired or naded. It's the bottleneck on Factory is also not really there anymore. You're not staring at 2 spots, and those are the only 2 spots they can come from unless they get a bazooka, right? So, to me, there were solutions given to the 2 biggest complaints that people have ever had about Shamil. And now it's just a matter of players figuring out how to use them, and then players figuring out how to counter those uses, and then players figuring out other ways around that, yada, yada, yada. I take Plays for Fun here. Again, I think Plays for Fun is low-key, like, one of the favorites in the division to win the whole thing. And these additions, I think, just bolster that even more. They almost beat Best Buds on Anzio there, and are very capable of beating anybody on a lot of different maps here. I think this will be a map that is good for them as well. A Pijisku Evans heavy team is outstanding, And then on the factory side with Manga, Anna, Lucky over there, like, you got a lot of frag power. The bots have the right guys in the right spots to be able to deal with it. It's just this map is going to be a little bit of a weird one. And I don't know how much the bots are going to really get to, like, look at it and play it together to come out with some semblance of a game plan to deal with all that. Because, like, plays for fun. Manga's going to be running straight forward. Evan's going to be running straight forward. You need to be able to deal with stuff like that on this map because there are ways to take aggression to another level. And if your Shamil muscle memory kicks in too much, you're going to get surprised a lot. So, take it plays for fun. Next up, the clear bronze match of the week here. 2 undefeated teams going head-to-head. Best Buds versus 9 to 5. For 9 to 5, you got 9, Corey, Caleb, Soya, Cadaver, and Nacho. And on Best Buds, should be at least, Hopper, Bromley, Big Bird, Piff, Laura, and Monty. At least that's the lineup they've been using. You never know if, like, a Bobby, James, a Petey, an Epion gets in there. They've got a lot of options. Man, I don't know. I mean, first of all, the fact that it's not a very, like, super sniper favor map is helpful for Best Buds because that means maybe Soya won't drop 85 kills. Thing is, like, he's going to be able to just pick up rifles and shit off the ground or start with the Noonter or whatever. So he might actually end up being just even more mobile at that point. So yeah, there is that. Corey, obviously, going to be great on this map. The factory team, I think, is like the main crux here for Best Buds. They need to generally be winning the factory battle, basically. I think Underpass will be back and forth enough. Certainly, I think for 9 to 5, they have the advantage when it comes to, like, working a potential ninja, finding gaps, stuff like that. Because with a guy like Caleb, who's directing traffic and is going to be taking a look at the map, and these are all players that understand this aspect of the game really, really well, you got to be on the lookout for that in a game like this where it's very evenly matched up on a map like this that is unfamiliar enough to people that now it makes it even tougher to know for sure, like, hey, we're definitely not getting ninja'd on, right? There's a lot of areas you got to be aware of. Guys can slip through the like if you have like one, say 8-second respawn where your one whole side of the map got wiped, but the other side of the map is okay and locking shit down. In those 8 seconds, that guy probably could have pushed all the way through the map and be flanking the other half or be at your one ninja'd. So very important to stay aware of that. I am going to go with 9 to 5 because they get the bonus of the fact that the map maker is on the team. However, I should also mention that hasn't worked for Thunder like ever on Armory. So how much is that worth? Not much. I think this will be a very, very close game with a dramatic couple of instances in it as well. Like I said, I think a lot is going to come down to the factory battle, though. I think that Underpass, is evenly matched between the two teams, and I think it will be kind of traded off and on. I don't think it'll be just like one team. It's not Shamil. Like, there's no way you're going to see one team just sit in Underpass for a full, 18 fucking minutes with 2 prone guys. Like, it's just not possible on this version of the map. There's ways around that very, very quickly. And there might be even more that I haven't figured out yet. Like, I'm sure nades that people have already found that you can use to clear out certain spots and shit like that. But yeah, going with 9 to 5 here by 7 points. 7 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. Best heavy in Cali. Speaking of which, been talking to Joey, and I think we're going to get him on the Dodcast at some point here, which would be really fun. Maybe we'll get him to play DoD again, too. That's the end game goal, right? We get Joey back playing DoD. All right. Silver. Man, there's seriously, 1, 2, 3 makeup matches still to go in Silver? Revo's got 2 of them as well. B team's got 1, Clan X 1. Soul won. Manners Minders won. Yeah, Revo has... Technically, they could have 3 games this Sunday if they tried to do it. What do we got, though, here? No-Go Shift W, Soul Emo Frag Squad, B-Team Revo, Clan X versus Manners Minders. I don't know what I think the match of the week is for this one. I'm inclined to say... Shit, I don't know. I mean, I feel like looking at the matchups, I feel like I have a pretty clear idea of who I pick to win in all of them. I don't see any games that I'm like, I'm really not sure here. There's definitely a couple games that could have plot twists in them. On a map like Anjou. I mean, you might think Soul versus Emo, but if this is going to be played Sunday when they're missing Ryan, I can't pick that game as the match of the week. Like, if they don't have Ryan, that's just too much of a loss ever on any map against any team. If they were going to be able to field their best 6 Emo Frag Squad, I would say Soul versus Emo is the match of the week this week. I kind of want to lean towards Manners Minders Clan X, or maybe No-Go Shift W. One of the two there. I don't know. We'll see. Let's just do it in order. B Team versus Revo. So for B Team, like I said, that addition to Shogun is a really good one. I'm guessing it'll be like Twist, Fallen, Steve. Actually, I guess I really don't know now that hypothetically it's all guys who could play anytime. Twist, Fallen, Steve, Stark, Henry, Miz, Booten, Shogun. Yeah, I mean, honestly, whatever 6 they come up with there. I guess they didn't have Josh last week, which is a big loss. Josh brings a lot to the table on this team, obviously, frag power-wise on the rifle. They have a lot of heavies as well. Twist, Kevin, Miz, predominantly heavies. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the lineup necessarily... Oh, wait, no. Did Ryan told me the lineup. I'm an idiot. I'm sure Ryan is watching this right now. Like, I told you the fucking lineup. And I'm sitting here fucking speculating about it. Okay, that is Burn, by the way. I'm such an idiot. Okay. So, for the Revo game, Twist, Fallen, Stark, Steve, Henry, Booten. And then for their makeup game against Manners Minders, it'll be Twist, Fallen, Stark, Steve, Booten, and Shogun. So Shogun will come in for Henry at that point. I'm such a fucking idiot. Caleb sent me the lineup too. I think I got that one right. Yeah, I did. Okay. I was pretty sure I got that one right. So once again, Twist, Fallen, Stark, Steve, Henry, Booten. Versus, on the Revo side, most likely, Kum, Luciano, Birdie, Johnsky, Eclipse, Saka. You could see a slick Nick, hat trick Nick Patton get in there. Probably not on the sniper. When I scrimmed with Revo, he was third rifling, which again was just fun to see. Nick can play any class, and I hope he gets to play some matches this season and play not the sniper, because no man should have to snipe every goddamn game for 9 seasons. Just not fun. So yeah, I mean, hey, Revo is the team to beat. Until Revo takes an L, they're the team to beat. I take them in every fucking matchup on every map that they can possibly have here. They are just that good. You're gonna need a game plan coming into this game for if you're on the B team side. You definitely don't want to try to go, shot for shot running at each other against Revo. That's not the game plan that's gonna work. If anything, do the polar opposite. And you gotta, try to slow them down. Force them to slow down. Force them to make the mistakes. B-Team has the guys who can do that. They have players that are experienced enough and smart enough to be able to do that. And a map like this that is, a bit of an unknown quantity, right? This is definitely one of those games where weird shit can happen. And, Revo has to come out and play good, fundamentally strong DOD and hit their shots and everything. or else it can turn ugly fast. I promise you. Having just played this map last night, it can go bad fast. So yeah, I mean, for a B team, like, it's just get in the server, get on that map, see what you can find, you know, look for some answers as a team for a couple minutes. Think about what they might be doing, and there are going to be ways here. It's just Revo is just so fucking good. You know, I wouldn't want to play against Revo on any map personally, under any circumstances. They just are a stacked fucking lineup. All guys that are playing a good amount of DOD here and staying sharp as well. You know, Luciano might be like the rookie of the year here. I mean, obviously he's been around, but like, you know, when it comes to like getting a full season in silver like this, you know, I mean, you could call Johnsky a rookie, but he's not really a rookie. Like, Johnsky has played in the top divisions of DOD hundreds of times, so I don't really look at him as being like a rookie in this case. Luciano, a lot more of a rookie. So yeah, I mean, I take Revo, but if I'm B team, I actually see this as a really big opportunity here to take the addition at the deadline and kind of make a statement here that we can take on anybody here. And I do think that they can make this a real fucking game, especially on a map like this where I think frag power is always important in this game, obviously, but it's kind of secondary. Like, coordination is really going to be important on this map. As people, I'm sure, who have played the map have recognized now and will recognize as they continue to play it more. Like, things can go awry very, very quickly. So yeah. On to the next one. Manners Minders versus Clan X. Manners Minders last week. Manor, Yanni on a sniper, Toki on a rifle, Kingyo on a rifle, Woo on a rifle, Pizza Hut on a third. Scotty, not sure if he is available or not. Sean, always going to be around and can pop in on any class and do a good job. Clan X, probably Nitrox, Rafinha, Bud, Matt, Bitch X, and Storm. You know, another thing here where it's like with Clan X, like with those main four teams, like unless they're playing against each other, it's tough to pick against them, man. They're just so stacked. Clan X, especially on a map like this where I was just talking about how like the rifles are going to play the biggest part, and who wins the rifle battle is more often than not on this map probably going to be in control of the majority of the map. Clan X's rifle team is scary as fuck, man. And even if they're missing a guy, they got a couple other guys that are just as scary that they can swap in and move around and be in just fucking fine shape. So, you know, but hey, Shamil is kind of a signature map for some guys on Manners Minders, especially the namesake himself, Manor. Like, that is kind of Manners' map. A hard carry effort here by Manor, just kind of running all over the map, dropping some bombs with the heavy, could throw a wrench in things for Clan X pretty quickly. I think Clan X is a good enough like team together that they would not just crumble under that, but you never know. But yeah, I mean, like, you know, on a map like this, with all the space that guys are going to have to be able to work through factory, a guy like Rafinha, a guy like Bitch X, a guy like Nitrox, like, that's just so much fun. Even if you kill two of them, you still have a third one to deal with, and Storm. I mean, obviously, one of those rifles I just mentioned probably going to be on the underpass side. But yeah, like, that's just a lot of firepower. I got to take Clan X here. I think, in my mind, this should be one of the closest games of the week in Silver. Like, I think Manners Minders will be able to make this a game no matter what. It's just, I don't know that they'll necessarily be able to turn it all the way around into a win on Clan X, who just, you know, is a well-oiled machine. Next up, Soul versus Emo Frag Squad. So for Soul, until I see Luke play, I'm just assuming he's not going to play. So Blackhawk, the Bear, Jackson, Stamp, Arachnid, and Pipes. For Emo Frag Squad, if the game is Sunday, no Ryan Emo. And as of right now, it is Sunday. So probably like Modgers, Ian, Pollock, J-Rod, Ace, and one of John, Saf, or Steve. I doubt Grant, but you never know, I guess. You know, first, obviously, you got to take Soul in this game. Like, they're one of those big four teams, and there's very, very few instances where I can pick against them. On top of that, like, the factory side of things, Soul with Jackson and Arachnid and the Bear over there. Oof, that's a lot of firepower. Emo Frag Squad, unless they've scrimmed that I didn't see, I don't think they've gotten any scrim time in on this map as well. So on top of that, they're going to be finding out in the match for the first time about some areas of this map that that they won't know about until they find out about them. Like there's certain things that it's not Shamil. So even though it is Shamil at a base, there are, like Rob, I don't think Rob is going to know that you don't have to blow open the broken door to wood. Like, that's just open. So on Axis' side, he could be sitting in quads, not realize, like, hey, they never peeked upper or lower, but now I'm getting shot in the side of the head by two guys. Like, these are things that they might not know if they don't get in the server and check on this shit ahead of time. Ian went in the server and checked on shit. He'll be prepared. I'm sure Ace has played this map multiple times. J-Rod has checked on it. Matt's checked on it. But after that, I have no idea how much the rest of the guys on the team really know. If it's on Monday and you get the best lineup for Emo Frag Squad in there, they can absolutely give Soul a run for their money on this map. To me, I feel like if that's the way it shakes out, I feel like you got to just put Ace on the other heavy and let Matt take a rifle, whichever rifle he so wants. Even if you still send Matt underpass, right? And he can pick up bars and stuff off the ground, which isn't really a bad idea, to be honest. Then you got, like, Jared and Pipes and probably Jordan over there on the underpass side versus, like, Ryan, Ace, and Matt, which is a really fun underpass battle. But again, though, like, then it comes back to the factory side. And you would need J-Rod and Ian to do a lot of heavy lifting over there, because whoever else is going to be going factory in this lineup would be somebody who probably has not ever seen Anjou before that moment. And so it's basically like you're asking them to deal with Jackson, Arachnid, and the Bear most of the way by themselves, which is a lot. Like, I think either way, Soul wins this game. But Emo Frag Squad, as the season progresses now with these additions, it's not going to be the same team. If you can get Ace and J-Rod and Ryan all playing all the rest of the matches from here on out, paired up with Ian and with Matt and, whoever as the sixth, honestly, at that point, whoever as the sixth. If you can make it a consistent sixth, that would be preferable. The thing is, I already know Rob is gone for, like, most of the rest of the season after, like, this week. So probably not going to be a consistent sixth. But whether it's Steve or Saf or John, whoever, this team from there has the ability to beat anybody. That becomes a much more well-rounded team with a lot of more well-distributed firepower throughout it. So, like, come back next week, on Armory. I think maybe we're talking a different story for Emo Frag Squad here. Who do they play next week? Ooh, Jesus. That's a rough first game to potentially have their new lineup in, but it's also the best possible test, right? That would actually would tell you exactly where Emo stands. If they could get their best six out there for Armory up against Revo, then you see does Emo break through into that big four? Or are they still kind of just outside it and would have to, get some hours in the server together to be able to continue to make those improvements? That's really the question here. The other four teams, we know that if everything stands the way it is right now and no of the other four teams in silver really get hours in there together to improve, those are the four teams for the semifinals. The other four, right now, the onus is on them as a unit and as individuals to improve to catch up to those four teams here, which is kind of a fun dynamic, to be honest. Like, I kind of like that. It's a race now, The race is on to see if these other four teams have, hey, it comes down to, like, schedules, right? Like, do they even have the ability to scrim as a team? Like, Emo Frag Squad, not that often, but if they can even get in the server as a team and scrim, like, once or twice a week, that would be really helpful, So, yeah, I'm taking Soul here. But I would, if they can push it to Monday, that would be awesome, just to have the potential to see a fully, evolved Emo Frag Squad lineup at its max potential go out there and face one of those top Big Four teams, and then I guess have to go and do it right away on Armory the following week. And last but not least, No-Go versus Shift W. Speaking of the Big Four teams, Shift W, Shreddies, Raven, German Kev, SQ, Raleigh, and Hooley. That seems to be the main six, with Blue and Svelty as obviously always options. For No-Go, Koi. So mostly it's been Koi, 3-sided quarter, the Sh brothers, Jamie, and then those last spots, it's, like Matthews played, Greg has played, Deidro has played. Now I'm sure Nick will be around as well. So it's a little bit of a musical chairs game for No-Go on that last spot. So yeah, I mean, again, right off the bat, Shift W, you take them to win this game. Those guys I know for a fact are putting in the time and the theory sessions and, nades and stuff like that. Like, they will be prepared for this game. Just on paper, this team is for sure already one of the top 4 teams in the division. They are also trying to win this season, and more often than not, man, I'm telling you, that is what makes the difference up in the end of these seasons when all is said and done. Very rarely is it just like, hey, this team on paper was the best team, but they never played together outside of matches, and then they won the whole thing. Like, more often than not, when all is said and done, those last 4 teams, and especially those last 2 teams, are going to be like some of the most active players for that season. And Shift W is doing a really good job of being committed here. No-Go, I don't know how much they get to scrim. They definitely do scrim sometimes. And this team, I think, has a really high ceiling. Like, there's some fucking strong players on this team. And this is like one of those teams that I think is primed to like level up at some point here. Just a matter of when it clicks and how it clicks. Like, they've been playing together for a while, and the players individually all are great players. It's just a matter of when they mesh together, like, completely. We saw Koi starting to really get up there individually last week on Anzio too, and that is another big step forward in the right direction. We know what Jamie and Kush and Bausch, like, we've seen all of them go nuts and have like 80 kill games. It's really close for No-Go. And again, this is kind of similar for me to the Manners Minders Clan X game, where it's like, if Shift W doesn't come out and be well prepared for this game, No-Go has a lot of ways that they can pull this thing back. Like, this is a map that will lend itself to things potentially going wrong on you very quickly. So, like, by no means is this just like, well, obviously, like, Shift W is one of the best teams. They're going to fucking win. It's just that's the most likely scenario. But I can see No-Go being willing to put in a little bit of extra time together just to kind of look at this map closely and look for solutions here. And they've got the guys that can just straight up shoot with Shift W as well. Now, that's not what I would advise you to do as a game plan. You have to be able to shoot with them just at a baseline to be able to make a game plan work. But I think if you look at this just a little bit, you can come up with something as the team for No-Go and find a way. Like, I'd say Shift W by like 2 caps. And then, yeah, just if you're No-Go, just take, even like 15, 20 minutes before the game. I'm not even saying like a scrim. I'm saying in the server together, looking at things as a team and recognizing the way that the dominoes can fall. Because there is a few, and I don't want to because I don't want to just do the work for everybody, I don't want to be like, hey, when this happens, you need to do this, and you need, that's half the fun, is figuring this shit out together. I assure you, we did this last night on G-Skill. We were in a server looking at the map, figuring this shit out together. And teams should do that at a minimum. Even if you can't scrim, you should get in the server together, especially with a newer map like this, and kind of just theorize. What do we do here? What do we do here? Oh, did you see this spot that you can wall? You see this spot that you can nade? Oh, I just found this crazy nade. Or like, off the initial, you should try to do this, blah, blah, blah. It's not CS where you can like strat, obviously. The second you start trying to strat in DOD, you're in trouble because it doesn't work. There's no stratting in DOD. The most strat that you can do is, hey guys, let's all of us run this route together. Rush B, no stop. And that has almost never worked for anybody outside of trolling. So, but yeah, if I'm no-go, if you can scrim, obviously that's massive bonus too. But on top of that, get in the server, look around at the map a little bit, think about the guys you're likely to be going up against, how you think they might approach the game, and try to piece it together from there. All right. Last, we've got the gold side of things. Okay, we got Clinic. So we'll start with our game here. Oh my God, I never put the display. God, whatever, it's fine. I wasn't using visual aids. It's fine. Okay, so G-Skill versus Clinic. I think our lineup is Taylor. I mean, I think it's like the same, but I think there was a chance that somebody was going to be missing. I'm going to turn the display capture off again, and then I'm going to fucking forget about it again, I'm sure. Okay, match. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think there was some talk about potentially somebody being missing. Okay. Yeah, there's a chance. There is a chance that the lineup will be a little different this week, but it's still up in the air right now, so it doesn't even, it's whatever. Most likely Taylor, Chuck, Andrew, Colin, Savage, Yagoon. And then for Clinic, I assume Debo, Vic, Justin, Sam, Tom, Scott, or, obviously with Clinic, it's always, there's possible that Insom's playing. You could get Alan in there. You could get Walter in there. The only guy, and I will continue to be sad about it, is Carpenter, probably not ever playing. Why isn't Carpenter playing? Good luck, have fun, Clinic. I'm still so sad that there's no Carpenter. We had to play against Debo in the scrim last night, and he was shitting on us, so that's something for us to have to think about right off the bat. He was just dominating us on Anjou, so... And then you add, obviously, another guy like PB into the mix. What happens then? Like, it's just, there's always, with Clinic, the potential for the guys to just go out there and be just shitting on you mechanically, and what are you going to do after that point? Like, they all have that capability of taking over a game. But we all know how much I love Clinic, so good luck, have fun. That's default time Sunday, which means I won't be casting games at default time. Record your HLTVs. Or if you're in a new server, don't, because they'll already be recording. Next up, we've got Ass Raccoons versus Dice. For Ass Raccoons, Darren, Cody, Drew, James, Miles, Leo has been their starting 6. They've got Evan in there as well now, who could play at any point in time. And the more he plays, the scarier it gets. Obviously, they also have Baron and Paul as options as well. No more Ben Sane. So I don't have to speculate about the fact that he's not likely to play. Empy got in there last week. Obviously, a guy who can play any class at a top level. For Dice, Kevin, Matt, Paul, Alex, Johnny, Chris. We don't know what classes they're playing. We saw Kellen get in there on Rail Yard and snipe to an MVP. Ryan was supposed to play in that game originally as well, so potentially always a chance for him to get in there. And yeah, this is, hey, like I just said, Ass Raccoons we beat them by only 4 points, and that we, for all intents and purposes, lost that game. So Dice got to be ready here. Yeah, I think a lot of things on this map, it's going to just come down to who on all these teams has gotten to play the map more, just so that they have a feel for the pace, the tempo of how shit is going down in certain areas ahead of time, because it will catch you by surprise if you're not ready for it. I like what I saw out of Ass Raccoons in their scrim last night. I think that bodes well for them in this match. It's an uphill climb against a team like Dice, obviously, that live in the chaos, and an unfamiliar map like this is going to be chock full of chaos, so bodes well for Dice. You still pick Dice, but I like the cut of Ass Raccoon's jib. We saw on against Icy Hot on Rail Yard, this team is capable of beating anybody. You put them in the right situation on the right map, there's no doubt in my mind that they can beat anybody in the division on the right map. Just a matter of which map that is, which team that is, how often that matches up. You know, Ass Raccoons, especially if they can be active and scrim together and stuff, like this team could start surprising people as the season goes on. If you played them earlier and you think you know what to expect, and then you run into them later after they've gotten more time on the server together, you're going to be in for some trouble. I mean, hey, just that the scrims last night are a great example. We just played them on Anzio and won. And then last night, like, they're coming out and really putting the fucking hurting on us on Anjou. So, you still got to take dice here on the surface. But, yeah, I obviously with dice, we don't even know what classes they're playing. But it doesn't really matter that much. We've already seen that they're all just as capable with any class they're playing of going out and laying some shit down. And, yeah. I think, again, with the map is the biggest X factor this week in a lot of these matchups. Just who has gotten themselves acquainted to the map more than others. It's going to answer a lot of questions for you right off the bat. So we'll see. We'll see what happens to that game. I think that'll be a fun game, honestly. I think that'll be one of the most fun matches of the week, period, all around. And then I think the biggest match of the week, last but not least, Icy Hot versus Over, has the potential to be a match of the season contender. I have no idea if Over has gotten to scrim together on this map at all. I'm sure they've looked at it, at least as individuals, which is a really good start. And I'm sure Icy Hot has, at very least, scrimmed with a few of them, and you know for sure that a couple of them have at least 12-manned it a couple times. So I feel like, at bare minimum, they're going to be decently prepared on both sides. For Over, Chi, Devin, Caffrey, SC, Nightmare, No Name. For Icy Hot, Jesse, Sean, William, Ben, Mitch, and Jared. I've been talking a lot about how important Factory is, and this is like, what a fucking potential heavyweight battle you got here. I don't know who will go underpass. That's a big question for me, I think, on the Icy Hot side, is who is going to go underpass? I mean, you have the option of sending 2 underpass. I don't think that's super advisable on Axis, especially. I think you could get away with it on Allies, but it opens you up, to be honest, to a lot of the potential to lose guys behind yourself and not even realize it's happened. I think that this structure of this map actually makes the 4-man Factory situation a lot less viable. It can certainly, like, you can wrestle control, and then if you get enough of a foothold in wood to where you have them, like, trapped in wood, you know, then you can start to think about stacking one side or the other and using that to your advantage to try to kind of, like, cut off a whole half of the map that way. But from a baseline, like, off initials type shit, if you're sending 4 Factory, there's a really big chance that underpass is going to end up, like, being lost all the way up to your last flag. Like, if your 2 underpass guys die off the initial, you need somebody from Factory to basically run right back to your first flag. Things can go wrong that fast on this version of the map. So I'm assuming for Icy, you got Mitch and Jesse, and I mean, I don't know. Like, you'd think maybe the Stas, but I could see a car being more valuable in that underpass area than the Stas, to be honest. Just with the way that some of the angles work out. And I'm not even, like, talking about the on the flag area. Like, the whole, obviously there's no window in that butcher shop anymore, but, like, when you're trying to use that shop to your advantage and avoiding all the cluster fuckiness of puddle and sandbags, like, a car might be your best bet there. I would guess if it's a car, it'll probably be William. And on the overside, I would guess it would be Chi. Man, I don't know. This is just like, this is going to be a really fun match to see how it goes. The way that the teams match up just in general as teams and then individually position for position. I mean, just to break it down for you. Let me break it down for you. No Name versus Sean, right? Fun. Devin versus Toxinator. Fun. Sick versus Chi. Fun. Hildebrand versus Nightmare. Fun. Caffrey and SZ versus Jesse and Bees. Fun. Like, this is a heavyweight battle here. I have no idea who to pick in this game at all. I picked 4 Soul. They're not going to be happy about that. If they did somehow lose this week after I picked for them to win, that's on me. I take responsibility for that. Ooh, man. I'm just kind of like playing the match in my head a little bit here, trying to think what I see. I mean, I do think that this map, I don't know. I feel like Icy might have, but then to be honest, on the overside with a guy like Chi, he can find his way behind you real quick too. Really, there's like no real scale tipper in either direction for me in this matchup on this map. I think other maps I'd be able to do this a little bit more confidently. On this map, there's so much unknown about how shit's going to play out at a baseline that I really am having trouble deciding here. I'm going to go with, I don't know. I think this game, first of all, is within a cap. If it's outside of a cap, I don't know what happened, because I feel like both these teams are very good at stealing back momentum when things go wrong for them for any amount of time. So I feel like it shouldn't be an instance where you're seeing like 4 unanswered caps by either side. I'm going to say Icy Hot by 12 points, but I don't even really know why. That's pretty much just a coin flip at this point. This is the clear match of the week. Across the board here. This and Best Buds versus 9 to 5, 2 very, very important games in gold and bronze, respectively. And yeah, that game is obviously an afternoon game. So I apologize if there are other games at that time. But yeah, I'm doing the ICF versus over game that day. Like, that's just a must do at 3 o'clock. So everyone else in the afternoon at 3, record the HLTVs. There's 2 4 o'clock games. So we'll just have to play it by ear on which one everybody wants to see there between B Team Manners Minders and Shift W No Go. And yeah, good luck, have fun, everybody, this week. Anjou action coming up. Going to be interesting to see how people play this map. And yeah, I will see you guys on another time. I will see you now, or I will see you on another time.